Okay, so Coach Prime, guys, if you haven't seen the news, big news going into Saturday, especially with a bunch of recruits on campus. Coach Prime is making a change or a shift to his staff, and this is a big-time shift, guys. Sean Lewis, if you haven't heard the news, make sure you stay tuned because we're going to talk about it. So what you guys need to do is you guys need to buckle up, grab your popcorn, grab your water, your Celsius, your Dr. Pepper, whatever, because we're going to talk about it. Jump down in the comments below. Join the discussion. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Do you think Coach Prime is making the right move here? And let's go ahead and let's just dive into it because Coach Prime, it is now being basically told is making a change, a shift to his staff. Colorado has stripped offensive coordinator Sean Lewis, took it away from him of his offensive play calling duties. And they've elevated Pat Schumer to that on-field role where he will take over as the team play callers, is what ESPN has written. Now, Schumer and Lewis, they will serve as co-offensive coordinators, is what Adam Rittenberg of ESPN has been told. Pat Schumer was a former NFL coach for like the past 20 years, right? 20 years of experience, NFL coach. But this comes off the heels of the offensive line just being absolutely atrocious. And here's what Deion Sanders had to say about it. It's really frustrating because I need to get feedback just knowing what's open and what's not, Shedeur Sanders said. While taking responsibility for the offense not being on the same page, I just got to make my mind up faster and get the ball out of my hands quicker. Here's what Deion Sanders had to say. Overall, we just don't have the fight and the passion to do what we want to do. Hey, you know what? Coach Prime, he said it best. Here's the deal. Sean Lewis, guys, he had a pretty innovative offense, pretty quick offense. And we all came into this Colorado thing at the beginning of the year and said, this might have been one of the best hires that Coach Prime made to this staff. Sean Lewis. And I agree. The defense, the offensive line has just not been what we thought it would be. I mean, I go look at Shedeur Sanders. He has literally been fighting for his life all season. And you guys are Colorado fans, a lot of you that are tuning in. So you know, you've watched the games. You've seen Shedeur absolutely take a beating out on the field. And you don't want your prized quarterback in Shedeur Sanders to have to be fighting for his life. Now, here's the deal. I'm surprised Coach Prime is making this decision now, why he didn't make it earlier in the week, and also why he didn't do this earlier in the season. Because this is his son, right? He wants the best for him. He does not want his son going out there and getting sacked. What is the number that he got sacked? Does anybody know? Yeah, that's right. 41 times. He got sacked 35 times at Jackson State, 23 times in 2022 at Jackson State, 41 times so far in Colorado. He's been sacked 99 times in his career. He's going to get number 100 this weekend. Shedeur Sanders is on pace to be one of the most sacked quarterbacks in college football history. Yet, this man right here, Coach Prime, says, I don't want that to happen anymore. And quite honestly, I want to win football games. And the reason why Colorado has not been winning their football games is, yes, I mean, their defense is absolutely atrocious. A lot of that can be also because you're putting your defense out there a lot because your offense hasn't been able to drum up a ton over the past couple of weeks. But also, your offensive line has been absolute garbage. And if you're Coach Prime, you look at Sean Lewis and say, I brought you in to run this offense. We need to get our running game going. We can't control the clock. You need to get this offensive line together. And I'm sure they've had conversations about it, and this has been the final straw for Coach Prime after this weekend. So Sean Lewis being relieved of his offensive coordinator play calling duties this weekend. And now you have a game where Oregon State's coming in. You have a pretty big game in terms of just having recruits. They've added another recruit to this massive recruiting weekend that they have. You've only given a 19% chance to win this game, according to the ESPN analytics. Coach Prime, he wants to go out here and make a statement. He wants to win some of these recruiting battles. And it all starts with this offensive line. It's got to get better. You're on a 2-game losing streak. You've lost 4 out of your last 5 games. It just isn't acceptable. This is not what Coach Prime is about. And he wants to get bowling. So this will be interesting to see exactly what this entails this weekend. And is Sean Lewis out as offensive coordinator for Colorado going forward? Listen, Sean Lewis is a desirable hire for many teams across the country. If there is a team out there looking for an offensive coordinator, if Sean Lewis is not calling the plays at Colorado, somebody's going to come knocking on his door and they're going to try to poach him out of the staff. So the question is, does Sean Lewis end up leaving Colorado this offseason, going and taking an offensive coordinator job somewhere else, or do I dare say another head coaching job? If you all remember, Sean Lewis left Kent State as a head coach to go be an offensive coordinator for Coach Prime in the Colorado Buffaloes. That was a really shocking move. That is not something that we all expected. But he was going to come get one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Deion Sanders on his field. He had never had a quarterback like this before. He had one now. He was going to have Deion Sanders, one of the best up-and-coming coaches in college football. A coach that was, if he did well, going to literally put Sean Lewis on the map for a big-time head coaching job. But now we're sitting here asking the questions, is Sean Lewis going to be with this Colorado staff going forward? Is Sean Lewis going to be somewhere else next year, either as a head coach or an offensive coordinator, or is he going to move to an analyst role with Colorado? I'm sure other teams, other staffs across the country are looking at Sean Lewis and saying, yeah, this season does not do justice for me. It doesn't move him off my list. I still think he's a good coordinator. And I think you get Sean Lewis in the right system, he can get things back on track. This is an interesting move ahead of the Saturday game. Maybe this move came strategically from Coach Prime because he didn't want to give the Oregon State Beavers an opportunity to go back and watch a ton of film on the Pat Schumer called offense. But also at the same time, you can't change it too much up on Deion Sanders in this offense. So it'll be interesting to see exactly if Pat Schumer is coming in to take Sean Lewis's job. This is not a quarterback switch like you would see on most teams where one quarterback comes in, they're coming to take another quarterback's job. This is a coaching thing. So I'm curious to see exactly how this turns out for Coach Prime. I want to hear from y'all. So jump in the discussion. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are around Coach Prime moving Sean Lewis out of the way, taking away his play calling duties as offensive coordinator play caller for the Colorado Buffaloes.